So get yourself a Cloud9 environment up and running, pick all the default options, and that will land you right here. Now, one of the things that I also like to follow this up with is pointing out that the AWS command line is difficult. There's a lot of potential options that are available out there. And the first time you start learning any sort of syntactical command line language like this, do yourself a favor and get TabComplete working. Now, sadly, Cloud9 for some reason does not have that enabled in here by default. Hopefully they fix this down the road. AWS, I'm counting on you. Hopefully you can hear this there. But if you try to run a command in here, like say for example, if I wanted to run the S3 commands, I could do AWS S3. And if I hit tab here, it's not providing me any tab completion at all. So this means that I have to know the full syntax of it. And let's face it, in the world of Linux, TabComplete is your friend. That's why it's built in to so many of the different features and functionalities in different Linux distributions that are out there. So let me show you real quick where you can find the info on getting that tab completion working, because it's going to make your whole experience just that much better. Typically, the easiest way to get started is to jump out onto Google and do a quick search, do AWS CLI command completion. Yeah, there we go. Excellent. And right here underneath of the user guide for the command line tools, you'll find command completion is available. Now, this is a little tricky, friends. You got to recognize that command completion is really a function of the operating system or the shell that you're running inside of. So they're going to have to go over a couple different environments that could potentially be configured in this way. And you're talking about the differences between like Red Hat or CentOS or Debian-based distributions, or of course, using it in Windows. So user beware, make sure you're following the right instructions. For my example, I'm going to show you the default stuff for Amazon Linux and how to get that set up. So we cruise on down through and they show us the basic process is make sure you know what shell you're using, figure out where the AWS completer libraries live, set those up in the path for your environment, and then go through and enable the tab completion and then make sure that it works. Okay, fairly complex when you first read through it, but once we run it, it's really only like 3 or 4 commands. Cool. So we'll cruise down through and you can see them figuring out what shell you're running in. I know that I'm using bash already. Okay. After that, they use the which command to identify where the AWS completer libraries can be found. We do want to go ahead and run this and figure out what that path is. So from over here in Cloud9, I'm going to go ahead and do which. Okay. And then we're going to do AWS, what was it? Underscore completer. Okay. Excellent. Okay, cool. So what this shows us is that in this particular instance, I have it under user local bin AWS completer. So I am going to make a note of that and just copy that and make a note. Hey, look right up here. I can make a note. New file, paste. There we go. Great. You can see the value of having this handy already. Back over on the command completion steps, they have us go down and set this as a part of the environment path in our operating system. Now, without getting into a whole bunch of Linux stuff here, remember that your path is basically the search folders and libraries that it can use to find certain commands. This makes it a lot easier because instead of having to provide full paths to all of the objects you're trying to work with, you can have it look for different areas in the path to kind of supplement that. In the end, it makes it a lot easier for us to work with, and it is a critical part of tab completion working properly. So cruising on down in here, the tricky part is that you want it to be persistent so that each time you restart your lab environment, it has the right set of instructions. So consequently, that means that you need to go in and edit your bash profile or Z shell or whatever shell environment you're using and add this little export command to the bottom of it. This is where you're updating that path we just found, and you're appending the existing path to it. Again, a lot of Linux concepts here real quick, folks. Take a Google on path manipulation if you want more info on it. So I'm going to go ahead and do .bash profile. That one will work for me. Now, this is found in your home folder. So I got to go up to, yeah, let me see here. Okay, great. So let me clear this out. I am in home/EC2-user, and if you do a full listing there, you should be able to find your little bash file. In fact, I'm going to drag this up here a little bit farther. Yeah, there it is. So bash profile. Excellent. So I'm going to do a quick vi .bash underscore profile. Excellent. And then we'll go all the way down to the bottom, and I'm just going to open up a new line. And I'm going to do export equals, okay? And then I am going to grab this completer line that I grabbed earlier on. And you can see what they're saying here is they want you to put it in the same folder where you found the AWS completer. So for me, that means don't put AWS completer here. Instead, you want to do user local bin. Now, for some of our more advanced Linux folks, you might realize you don't have to do this because it was already in there. That's fine. I'm just trying to go through an exhaustive set of steps here. Okay, so we can paste that on in, boom, and take off the completer part. Okay, and we'll do colon, and then we're going to say $path as well. Okay, so that ensures that the existing path has this added to it as well. All right, and I'll go ahead and save my file. Moving on down through, the last step to do is setting up the actual complete command, which tells the completer function in your operating system how to find the files and work with them. Okay, now this path is not correct for my environment. I am going to go ahead and copy this out, but I'll have to update that path a little bit. There we go. Okay, so I'll put in that completer command, and we wanted to fix it so that it has the right path in it, and that was user local / bin. Very good, AWS completer. We'll go ahead and run that. So what this is saying is that in order to complete the commands that start with the AWS prefix, you need to go and look at this particular library and this path. Okay, so what this should allow me to do then is do an AWS S3, and if I hit tab here, that looks pretty good. Now it is doing the TabComplete, and it is showing me all of the different AWS commands that start with that S there. Cool, very good. Same idea if I do cloud here and tab. Yep, these are all the different cloud-based ones that are available. That looks pretty good. Now the final thing to do here is to make sure that TabComplete persists. Just like we did with the profile, you want to make sure this complete command gets added to your shell invocation script. I'm trying to remember, I think it's RC is the init script that it's using. And if we jump back over here, that is the final piece that they talk about here, is that you do want to make sure that you add it to, oh, there it is, yeah, .bash rc. So we'll go ahead and add that same command there as well. Now to grab this, I'm just going to grab the complete command that I used a moment ago, the one that we confirmed was working properly. And I'm just going to copy that to my clipboard. Okay. Notice that I am here in home EC2-user. Okay. And if I do a quick listing here, I can find .bash rc. That's the one I'm looking for. And I will edit that in whatever text editor you want to use. RC, excellent. And then boom, all the way to the bottom and open up another one. And I'm just going to paste that command on in. So what this means is that this command will get run each time I run the bash shell environment, which is exactly what I was looking for. Okay, and we'll save that. Excellent. So now you've got your Cloud9 environment up and running, and you've added the very tasty tab completion element to the AWS command line as well. This should set you up for happily editing text files, working with security policies, building CloudFormation resources, and of course, if you're digging into the Lambda world and serverless application models, there are lots of tasty hooks that Cloud9 has to make your life a whole lot easier. So keep this all in mind, friends, as you're digging into your AWS studies out there. This is going to be a great set of resources for you to help with the solutions architect, SysOps developer, or SysOps administrator, and of course the AWS developer tracks in the advanced courses that come on beyond that as well. So hope that's been informative for you, friends. Make sure you hit me up. If you have more interests, I get into a lot of this stuff in my CBT Nuggets training. You can find it out there on the webs, learn.gg/Bart-Castle. And of course, you can find me here on YouTube. Subscribe and like. You can find me on Twitter at CloudBart. And like I said before, my friends, we'll see you in the cloud.